welcome to the video podcast Vinyl Analysis. I'm Paul Freudenberg with Soundscapes Media Group, and I introduce to you AJ from radio station KAJW, internet radio station, right?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
A fine evening it is here.
It's a good evening. It felt fall-like and crisp this evening. So this program is designed to have casual conversation about a subject that we both have near and dear to our heart, which is music on vinyl. And it's a real homage to the format and open to discussions with loads of enthusiasts, and also encourage newcomers to the hobby. You would call it a hobby, wouldn't you? What do you think of when you think of music on vinyl and collecting?
Man, it's a lifestyle for me. Hashtag vinyl junkie. That's me.
I like that you
started when I was 8 years old.
Yeah. Well, I like that you called it a lifestyle, because I think for those who grew up during the vinyl heyday, which I would regard as sort of 1950 to 1985, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 1990. I think for those people who are used to listening to music on vinyl, it was a lifestyle. And I think a lot of people are returning to that lifestyle to capture some nostalgia as well. And I think there's some people who've never stopped. Obviously, you're one who's just never stopped.
I'm one of the oddballs that hoarded all my records and never got rid of them. I'm one out of, 20, 30 good friends where everyone else got rid of all of their vinyl. And
Yeah.
I didn't. And I've been schlepping it around to every house that I've ever lived in and every apartment that I've ever lived in, and moved it from, storage closets. And so
it's more than a lifestyle then.
Yeah, it's more than a hobby for me.
Yeah. Well, we want to appeal to vinyl lifestylers. We want to appeal to vinyl nostalgics. And there's no age limit for this. I know people who are enjoying music on vinyls well into their 70s, and my nieces, who are now in their 20s, are shopping for vinyl at Urban Outfitters, and they're sort of welcoming the vinyl lifestyle. They like the simplicity.
All of the young people that I see in record stores makes me happy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to spend some time with you to bring to me and the audience some fresh vinyl that you've put your ears on recently that I'm unfamiliar with. So what have you got there?
This is the new release from Broken Bells. Are you familiar with the band Broken Bells?
I've heard of the name of the band Broken Bells, but I can't say I've heard any of their music.
The lead singer is James Mercer, and Brian Burton, also known as Danger Mouse. Mm-hmm. It's the two of them, and this is their third record, and it just came out a couple weeks ago. And I got a smashing limited edition blue splat.
I love splatter vinyl. There's just something so cool about it. Each one of those is one of a kind.
No photographs of the band, no lyrics.
But beautiful artwork in that gatefold.
Yeah, it's cool. They're this ball that they have here is a reoccurring theme on all their album jackets. James Mercer is the lead singer of the Shins. And I think he's one of the best singers on the planet. And I would, consider Brian Burton one of the best producers on the planet. So it's they obviously know that there's good chemistry between the two. Mm-hmm. And it's another just awesome record. I've only listened to it one time, and I loved it already. And I'm looking forward to many more spins.
So what's the genre that these guys are covering?
The name of the record's Into the Blue, Broken Blues.
Oh, okay.
Pop. I would call it pop
Hmm.
but the Shins are an alternative folk rock band.
Hmm.
Um, Danger Mouse is alternative, synth pop.
Right.
All you know, I mean, I don't know. He's produced so many different things now. So before all the genres that have happened over the last 10 years, I would have just called this an alternative rock record. Is what I would have called it in the
Right.
'90s.
Right.
But um, it's not heavy. There's danceable grooves, and it's really, again, James Mercer's such a incredible singer. The melodies are beautiful. So to me, it leans closer to a pop record than anything else.
So, there are a lot of ways to consume music these days. You can stream it, you can still get CDs, you can buy a download. What makes this music worthy of owning on vinyl? Because I think that might be a
Well,
question that a lot of the people in the audience are asking.
um, again, going back to Danger Mouse, you're talking about one of the hippest producers, and he's, um, the dynamics of all of the tools that he uses in the studio, from lo-fi vintage equipment to the highest fi sampling and uh, Pro Tools, and I actually don't know if they've ever recorded anything on analog tape, so I think it's probably all digital.
Hmm.
But I mean, he's just an audiophile geek, no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
um, you're definitely going to miss something if you're only listening to it on a streaming service on your car or whatever. However,
Right. Right.
unless you got a high fidelity audio
Yeah.
streaming service happening,
Lots of
but
great sonic textures.
for sure, and the
Yeah.
depth is wonderful on all three of these records. So this is a band definitely that is going to benefit from vinyl spin
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
And also, I think when these artists are deciding that their project will be released on vinyl, they have to consider the playing time and the order a little bit more, right? So
Yeah, and
even
it,
that
and
is part of the.
and all their records feel like 70s records. They're
Yeah.
sequenced and dynamic from one song to another. They're definitely trying to make a record, and not, and it's
Yeah.
it's a the other thing. I don't know this part, which I would be interested to know. These guys are in separate worlds, and then they come together, make a record, and then they go their separate ways again.
Yeah.
So it's be curious to know how long they actually recorded this,
Yeah. I love that
But,
idea. Okay.
but it's definitely a craft when they're making the record. It's definitely the craft of making an LP, an album.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's really a mindset. That's cool. Okay. Well, I've got something I'd like to share with you. I've just gotten done listening to this fabulous vinyl record, the Chicorea's The Montreux Years, and it's a double album. Great cover art on the front, gatefold. The there are, let's see, 4, 8, 9 songs on total, so they're running fairly long. They're all live, recorded live, but one of the things that comes clear straight away on this record is just how flawless and technically accurate Chick Corea's playing is in this live environment. There's no net, right? I mean, what was recorded, what was played on that day is what's on this record. And
can we
and
see the gatefold, the inside gatefold? Those pictures of the band look good.
yeah, 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 yeah. So they're kind of, sort of monochromatic, but they really, just captures an era or multiple eras actually. So this is spans. First recording is 1981, and then the most recent recording is 2010. Um, and yeah, it's just a fabulous. If you like jazz, piano jazz, there's acoustic jazz, there's electric jazz. It's a fabulous exhibition of just how profound uh, Chick Corea's playing was, and what a captive captive live performer he was. I mean, really just powerful music, super expressive, super dynamic, and that's really what makes it great for vinyl. Is that you capture the dynamic, the tonality of the piano, and all of the instruments just have such a richness and a depth. It's really a great recording, really great tribute to his legacy.
I want to
Um,
hear that too.
okay, well, listening party is coming up for sure. Um, I thought I'd take a minute to discuss with you one of my favorite vinyl tech topics. Um, I wanted to talk about the micro groove. Do you know about the micro groove?
I don't.
Well, the micro groove was maybe one of the most important advances in the whole sort of phonograph process. Um, it was invented by Columbia Records back in 1948, and it basically allowed longer playing times and recording times for records. Up until the introduction of the micro groove, I think the maximum time on a 12-inch record was uh, 7 or 10 minutes, and the micro groove permitted 20 minutes per side, if more or less. I mean, some records have a little bit more, um, uh, and um, and that really was a game changer. That it is what started what the vinyl revolution, if you will, and I think it's significant because at the time, the late 40s, early 50s, jazz music was really top of the game, and so you had all of these jazz performers who now had a little bit more time to be expressive and to present their craft and so on. So the microgroove really probably, and it's the same, effectively the same specifications that are being used today. Of course, there have been a lot of small enhancements to either the pressing process or the mastering process or the reproduction process, but the microgroove set that whole thing into motion, and made the vinyl record we enjoy today as the uh, long
Stand.
playing, high fidelity standard. Exactly. So
Cool.
thanks to Columbia Records for pioneering, and thanks for everyone who's kept the torch burning since then, right? I also wanted to take a moment and share with you, Adam, a new little product that I found. It's an old company name with a really a new modern product. It's called the Victrola Stream Carbon, and it is a belt-driven turntable uh, with a Sonos uh, uh, system built into it, so it becomes part of your wireless phonograph system. So, I think there are some technical barriers that might keep a lot of people from enjoying vinyl these days. Uh, and so here, Victrola is really trying to create, to take a product which is old school in many ways, and they've got a lovely modern industrial design, and then they've got the Sonos interior, which allows you to transmit to your Sonos speakers and so on. It's $800, which might be considered a little pricey for some, but you can get 4 interest-free installments from the Victoria Record Store. Anyway, for those
Cool.
who are still getting in, up until now, Victrola has been selling a lot of $50 suitcase style phonographs, which are built-in speakers and amplifiers, and now they're trying to become part of the bookshelf hi-fi system. So I think they've done a really good job. The styling is beautiful. So I encourage the viewers and the listeners to check it out.
Cool.
Um, Oh yeah, I added a new topic here. 5 reasons to start a record collection. I just stumbled across this the other day on Discogs. And by the way, for the listeners and the viewers, Discogs is a fabulous place to learn about all the different variations of music versions that come out through the ages. It allows you to value your collection. Adam, how many of your records are in Discogs in your account? But this Discog article about why collect vinyl really rang true to me, and probably will resonate with you as well, Adam. Uh, I'll summarize. First of all, they are saying vinyl really does sound better, uh, and they're saying things like pure analog sound waves just bathe you in warm sound, which I totally believe in. You know, coming from the record producer side of things, I've listened to digital masters and I've listened to the vinyl after the master has been converted into a record, and it absolutely warms it up and just sort of polishes all the edges off. Vinyl offers the best album art and packaging. Nobody can argue with that. And we'll have an opportunity to talk in a later episode about what just makes the package perfect, right? Um, Vinyl provides a deeper connection, uh, and again, you know, they're referring to the tactile nature of it, and the organization, and just is a little bit more interactivity, you know, with the artist product, and I think that's important. Of course, no rationale would be uh, uh, complete without acknowledging that buying vinyl is a great way to support artists. And this is important. You know, some people may pass on buying a vinyl album of their favorite artist because they don't have a turntable. But you know, it's artwork too, and you can put it on a tabletop easel, or you can frame it, and the commerce that takes place is really much more direct to the artist. The artist can make more money selling vinyl than really any stream or any other format these days. So it's important.
I don't know if it says, but it holds value too.
Well, I
Um,
think that once our listeners and viewers get into Discogs, they will discover that maybe to their surprise that their collection has value. And then lastly, Discogs, of course, this is maybe a little bit of gratuitous self promotion, but Vinyl invites you to join the collector community. Of course, they are a sponsor. But it's not just the online community, it's record stores, it's record fairs, it, it's boot sales and trades and all sorts of stuff. And the thing that I like most about vinyl is that's the way we used to share music. You know, it was like, hey man, I just got the new, you know, name
Broken
your
record.
artist, and you got to hear it. And before your friend runs out to the record store and buys it, you know, you loan it. And there was this wonderful, you know, one to one word of mouth kind of community that evolved as part of the vinyl community. So anyway, there you go. 5 reasons to start a vinyl collection.
Love it.
All right. So Adam, I would love for you to share with us a record that maybe you and I are both familiar with.
Well, I have pulled David Bowie, 1979, circa 1979, Lodger out of my
Yeah,
collection. And I'm in a, both you and I just saw the Moon Age Dream,
Daydream.
uh,
Yeah,
Daydream Incredible movie. Um, so I'm kind of gotten back on a Bowie kick for the 300th time of my life,
yeah.
and this record, it's one that I'm least familiar with, so it sounds really new to me. but it's as I've gotten older, I've loved it more than I ever have.
Yeah.
The eclectic part of it. Um, it's Brian Eno laden, and
Hmm.
Adrian Belew is on this, and
All the great
it's
guitarists. Yeah.
an amazing record. It really is an amazing record.
Yeah.
He wasn't really. They weren't really concerned about getting on the radio on this record,
Yes.
and it's
Although they
really.
did have a song called "I Am the DJ."
I mean, that was for sure the single on
That
the
was the single that was going to
on,
get them played, and
on purpose, and a
yes,
cool video.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Dennis Davis is
so,
on drums on that record. He's absolutely one of the most rock solid drummers. He played on a lot of Bowie records, and I think it was produced and partially engineered by Tony Visconti, who was almost
and
did almost every Bowie record and is really kind of the keeper of the Bowie archive.
mixed as well by Tony,
Yeah,
produced by
yeah,
David Bowie and Tony Visconti.
yeah, yeah. Those
Yeah.
guys were a powerful force. Yeah, brilliant.
So
Yeah.
this is
That's a
an,
must have.
this is one of his most underrated records because there's no really big song on it. Like
Right.
there, I don't even think "I Am a DJ" is, or DJ, I should say,
Yes.
DJ
Right.
is on any of the greatest hits records. So it's sort of an outlier that I think is an unbelievable piece of art.
Yeah, it looks like Billboard magazine in the U.S. It peaked at number 20, and the single, I can't see where the single is. But maybe if I get a little bit more deeper here, yeah,
Maybe look,
the single only peaked at 106. So probably didn't get the attention it deserved. I wonder what else was out that at that time that was competing.
1979, Paul, is I have I have exclaimed on many occasions 1979 is my favorite year in rock and roll.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you go and Google that list of records from 1979, you will be amazed at the amount of music and the
Yeah,
quality of records of your favorite band's careers in 1979. You will
yeah,
be blown away by
yeah.
what came out.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that because I think that as we approach ends of decades, there's something about that. We got to get this last creative force out before the calendars turn over. So because I think the same for 1969. The music that came out in 1969, again, it was just like, oh my gosh, it just kept coming and it was so great. So
You know,
we'll have to carry that thread forward and do a little bit more of a deep dive into that. That's a
sounds good.
thesis, I would say. So that's cool. Okay. So I'd like to share with you uh, a project that I'm super passionate about, and I know that you know. This is the new Bone Daddies EP, Archaeology, uh, Gatefold Design. It's a 4-song EP, 45 RPM. This happens to be the collector's edition, so it's got the poster and the colored vinyl. This is the yellow vinyl with red splatter. And the Bone Daddies are the world beatniks, as they've been coined. Grew up in Southern California and used to see them play a lot in the mid '80s, and got an opportunity to bring a number of their unreleased songs that were recorded live in the studio to vinyl. Great album liner notes written by Lauren. Uh, blanked on her name. Uh, Editor, take this out. All right, we'll start again. Wow, total brain fart. Lauren, what's your last name? Good Lord. Lauren Tannenbaum. Take two. Lauren Tannenbaum. Artwork was done by Mike Temple, the percussionist and band leader. He did the front cover painting as well as the inner gatefold as well. and it's just a lovely, lovely bounce through, the path. The
Can
mid
I
'80s.
stick my 2 cents in?
Absolutely,
That's,
please.
that is my favorite Bone Daddies record. I own their entire collection. I was a big fan of them when they were playing live back in the day. They were one of the
Hmm.
best live bands in Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and but they got caught up in chasing the proverbial success and what the record company was trying to turn them into instead of what they were, which
yeah,
was an unbelievable live band.
yeah.
So this record is before they signed to a
That's right.
major deal. Um, so in my opinion, it's their best sounding record too.
Yeah, yeah,
It's void of any '80s digital reverb and gated reverb and
yeah,
crazy effects, that to me ruin a lot of '80s records.
yeah,
And it's brilliant. And your package is gorgeous.
yeah.
The poster is beautiful. The
Again,
limited
artwork
edition,
by yeah,
the limited edition yellow vinyl is beautiful, and the pressing is perfection.
yeah, super. Yeah, we mastered with Kevin Gray. We pressed in 180 gram vinyl at Record Technology in Camarillo, and it was just a fun
Yeah,
project.
you get your money's worth from
Yeah,
the deluxe edition of that album.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I agree. This album didn't suffer from being overproduced. It didn't suffer from record industry, elbowing. Dennis Moody, who's the engineer, is also credited as the producer. He's a brilliant sound engineer, recording engineer. The band, of course, is writing composing their own parts and so on. And I agree. I think from a capturing their essence, their live essence, which it's difficult. They really did a great job, and they should have been signed based on those recordings. And again, I think yeah, it was really fortunate to have access to this material. Okay, so that sort of concludes this first episode number one of Vinyl Analysis. I want to thank AJ from Radio KAJW. Where can you find your radio station?
Thank you, Paul. I had fun. I'm looking forward to the
Yeah,
next time.
yeah, we'll do this again.
Uh, Go to live365.com
Okay.
and put in Radio KAJW in the search, and the station will come up. You can also get it on an app at the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store.
Right on.
And the app works great in your car, and I'm thrilled to do it. I've been this is the fourth year that we've been
Yeah. Uh,
streaming all over the world, and
the app
get a lot
is
of
live. Is the app live 365? Is that?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. I have to say, when you told me about your radio station, I listened, and I felt like it was just a love letter to beautiful music.
Thanks,
It really it was
man.
it great taste, great
The
playlists.
thanks, man. Our tagline line in the beginning creation of the station was "There's nowhere else you're going to hear um, Miles Davis next to Nirvana." So the genre, there are no genres. It's all about great music,
And both
and
of those guys were genre benders anyway, so I think that's brilliant. All right. Well, this has been Vinyl Analysis, and I want to invite you guys to like us on Facebook, Soundscapes Media Group, or Vinyl Analysis. Also, follow us on Instagram, find us on YouTube, or right here on the Zencaster podcast service. Have a good one. See you
good
again.
night.
Good night.
Bye.